that up there. Can you guys see okay there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So for you guys that are on Zoom, welcome. What we're gonna be doing is going through just really a pretty high level overview of the Moxi Works system. And so basically what that means is I'm going to touch on all 4 of the pieces that we have available for us. And we will spend a little bit more time on some and a little less time on others. And I'll show you why that is as we go through and do it. But where we're going to just start with is first, how do you even access it? So once you log in, you're going to want to access this by going to 21online.com. The other option that you have available, just so that everybody knows and is aware, is I'm going to hide some stuff on my screen here so I can see it a little better. Okay, is just kind of so you know, there is a shortcut way to get to it. So one is going through 21 Online. The other is if you just go to engage.century21.com and hit enter, it will then take you into the system as well. So if you don't want to have to log in through 21 Online first, you can do it that way. You can go to engage.century21.com. So, but in case you don't remember that, whatever, go to 21 Online. When you first log into 21 Online, it'll drop you onto the dashboard here. And then from there, you can either type in under the search bar to find Moxi, or the way that I usually do it is click on this menu here. And then I scroll down to Productivity Hub. And once you click on this Productivity Hub, that will then take you to the Productivity Hub here, which looks like this. And that gives you all of the tools that are basically available on 21 Online. So that's kind of how I usually always go about accessing everything. Once you do that, you'll scroll down, everything's in alphabetical order. And once you scroll down, you'll see that you've got the Moxi Engage, Moxi Impress, Moxi Present, Moxi Talent is for the managers, and then the Moxi website. Now, you can click on any one of these and it's going to take you to the exact same spot. So just recognize that that if you're wanting the Moxi Engage, you know, you can click on that. But if you click on Moxi Impress on accident, it's going to take you basically to the same spot. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to click on Learn More. Once I've clicked on Learn More, then you'll see it has Access Moxi Impress right here, which if I had clicked on the Engage, it would say Access Moxi Engage. If I had clicked on the websites, it would say Access Moxi Websites. But again, once you click on this, it's going to land you, regardless of which one you clicked on, you're going to land up right here. So whether you clicked on Moxi Engage, the Impress, the Present, whatever, which is why I was saying before, if you just do the engage.century21.com, it's going to bring you in as well. All right. So now from this page here, up at the top, you'll see we've got Present, Engage, My Website, Impress, Promote, and Directory. So I'm going to start with the I almost said Present, with Impress. We're going to start with the Moxi Impress, and we're going to spend the least amount of time on this one of all of the things that we have available, and I'll show you why that is as we jump into it. But this one is one that, as a company, we're still trying to figure out how to get all of our information in there. When I say figure out how, I think we now know how. It's getting all of the templates and things put in there. So Moxi Impress is one that we'll probably use more and more as time goes on. But to begin with, I'm just going to walk you through what that looks like and how it works. And I'll show you why we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Impress right here, which will bring up the Impress part of the Moxi system. So the idea of Impress is this is a marketing type of a platform. So the Moxi Impress is for that. And you'll notice what it gives you the options to do is brochures, e-cards, flyers, postcards, some social media, videos, virtual tour, and websites. So I'm just going to click on flyers here so that you can see what it does. So the idea of this is I clicked on flyers, and then it's going to bring up all the designs that we have available. And you'll notice, which this is where I was saying we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And the reason is because there's one choice, basically, at this point. So as a company, what we will do is we're going to get more options available. Our marketing department's going to work on that. And that's where I was saying you'll probably would end up using this a little bit more down the road. But for now, if I wanted to create a flyer, this is someplace I could go to do it, is go to Moxi Impress. I would click on that flyer section, which brought us to here. And then I can click on this flyer here. It'll show me, here's a sample. Do I want to view it or just select this design? So as I said, this is the only one that's available right now. So we'll select this design. It's going to bring up to show you, here's what the layout of this flyer will look like. You would go through and create a name for that project there, and then put in a description of it. So you could just, call it whatever you want to call it. I put it in this folder of just, it's got for testing December 21st, December 21, which is the first time I taught this, I think. So if I created a new project name, I would put that in here. Down here, you can see I can do a search by MLS ID or an address. So I could just put in, if I knew an address of a property, I could type in the address of that property or the MLS number, and then it should bring up all of the information that you would want, the photos, all those kinds of things to put right on the flyer. Okay. So once I've done that, then I would do save and continue, and then it would take me into the flyer, which it's not going to let me because so let's see, test. 2. So from here, because I didn't have an MLS number or anything, this is where I would go and put in the pictures to show up, and it would show you where they're going to show up on this. And basically save and continue, you would create the flyer. But like I said, if you put in an MLS number or property address, should just bring all of that in for you to where bam, it's done and ready. So all right, so that's the Moxi Impress part of this. That's whether you were trying to do a brochure and an e-card or whatever. Here's what a brochure would look like. Again, there's one option. You would just do that same process, click on it, select it. It's going to bring it. You're going to name the project. You're going to put in an MLS ID or an address, save and continue. Okay. All right. So for you guys on Zoom, just so you know, I have everyone muted. So if you do have a question, throw it in the chat box and we'll answer it for you. But all right. So that's the Moxi Impress. Pretty simple of how you would go about it. Like I said, look forward to our marketing department getting more flyers and things put in there. But at this point, you saw what the options are. So, okay, next, we're going to do the website. So again, I'm just back here on this main page where once you have entered into Moxi, it's going to bring you onto this page. So I'm going to click on the My Website now, which is going to open up to where I would create and control the functionality of my website. So you'll notice it shows right here, welcome to the Agent Website Admin Tool. So this is where by clicking on this websites right here is taking me to the admin tool section. So typically what I would recommend that you're going to want to do is the first time that you go into this, you'll notice up at the top left here where my mouse is, it has visit the website or visit the site. If you click on that, it's going to then open up your site for you. So now I have done some modifications to mine, so yours is not going to look the same as what mine does.
So cool.
Yeah, it's not going to look so cool like mine. No, I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but yours may look a little bit different. But so I would recommend, though, again, that you come up here and click on this visit site, which will open it up so that you can see what your current one looks like. So the nice thing with this is every one of you already has a website that is created. It's a very generic one, but it's created, it's ready to go for you. if you'll click on that, it's going to bring it up for you to be able to look and see what it looks like, to see if your picture's there. It's got these featured properties, and you can scroll through and see the information that's on the website. Now, what you're going to want to do then is customize that. And so again, the idea of today is I'm not going to dive into like fully how to do this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of how to do it. And let's see, somebody just threw a question. So yes, Elizabeth's asking if she can, if you could use your own URL and forward it to here. Yes, in fact, that is what I would recommend that you do, is get in here and get this all created. And then once you've gotten it created, you can come up here to this, because this is what the URL is for your Moxi website. If you were to copy this and then go over to like say GoDaddy or whoever you bought the domain name through, you can then forward that domain name to here. Because otherwise, what Elizabeth's asking is, if you didn't do that and you wanted to advertise your website somewhere, you would have to put this on your business card. You know, Russell Orchard -C21 Everest.sites.c21.homes. Like, that's kind of a lot. So versus, and I don't think I've moved mine yet, but I bought the domain name russorchard.com, and then I could forward this to russorchard.com, so that when somebody goes to russorchard.com is forwarded to this, I guess. But when somebody goes to russorchard.com, it would take them right to this site. Does that make sense? You look like you're confused. Okay, so you can go and buy a domain name. We're trying to figure out how to I'll help you. Okay, so yeah, so what, in just if others are wondering too, so I'll let me just actually show you. And I think I currently have mine forwarded to a different site. I can't remember, but so I went and bought this website, russorchard.com. Then I forwarded this to
the other long one that you have.
Yeah, to the other. So this is to the Zap one. I need to go in. So this is a good reminder that I need to go in and switch mine. But I'm going to switch it so that when somebody types in russorchard.com, it will take them to this website right here. Does that make sense, Luz? Good. So yeah, that's what you would want to do on that. Okay. So
sorry, before you proceed, so it's a good idea to buy that domain to make it easier so that you don't have to do it.
Yeah, that would be the whole idea of you going and buying your own domain or the URL is so that they don't have to type this whole thing in.
So are they expensive?
No, very cheap. Yeah, yeah. Typically somewhere around $12 a year.
Are you kidding?
No.
Really?
Like it's it's like $1 a month basically to buy your own website. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just to get the name. If you were going to try to go create a website, it would obviously be more than that. But the good news is we provide for you the website. You just forward it to here.
Good. Now you're making sense.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So now back to once you've gone here and looked at what your site looks like, the next step then is how much customization do you want to do? Which truly you really don't have to do any if you don't want to. But if you want to, the way you're going to do that then was back here on this agent website admin tool, which again, just a reminder, the way I got there was clicked on this my website, which then brought up the agent website admin tool. So from here, and again, I want to just re-emphasize, like the idea of today is not to go through this. We can do and will do classes that are specific to just setting up your website. But again, today was more of just, I want to give you an overview. The idea for me today is to get you started to know what's there and to go in and play around with it. You're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to mess up anything. It's not like you're going to go in and delete properties from the MLS or something if you go and do this. So go play around with it. So from here, though, these are the common tasks that you would potentially want to do. And so my recommendation for you would be, once you go in here and you've looked at what your site currently looks like, Then come down to these tasks and just go through them and make whatever changes you want to make. And we'll take a look at a few of these just so that you can see what's there. But so this first one is personalize your site style. So I'm going to click on that. And what that's going to do is bring it up and have me choose. Okay, I mean, it shows up here, choose the color palette, but basically you have one choice, you can see. So that, don't worry about that. But the next is, do you want your homepage layout to be search focused or agent focused? So let me show you what the difference of that is. Mine is set up, this is a search focused, what that's going to look like. The idea of the search focused is it's designed around your site being more focused on searching for properties versus if I selected this agent focused, and I don't know how well you can tell just by looking at this. I'll try to zoom in here. But this agent focused is it's got the agent's information and the search bar is small here. Versus if we come over to this one, you can see it's got the search bar there and then the agent's information down below. So for me, my recommendation is leave it as search focused, is just because most people that are going to a website are going there for what purpose? Search. Yeah, to search. So make it easier for them. I mean, and the best example that I can use for that is look at Google. Like their website is totally search focused.
Kind of Moxi website too. They're asking a question.
What's that?
They're asking a question.
Oh, somebody asked. Oh, so
So
let
the
me-
Moxi website would be tailored to a team.
Oh, yeah. So Daphne, great question. So yes, there are team options for the website as well. And that's down here under this My Team section here. So yes, you can do that and create it around the team as well. So, okay. So my recommendation would be to leave this as search focused, and then you're just going to hit publish here. Okay. So if I hit that, that's going to then publish that to the site. Then if I hit the home button up here to go back again. So that was this, personalize your site style. That's how you're going to do the style. Next one is to personalize your homepage. So this one has a little bit more information, but again, my biggest thing I would say is don't let this overwhelm you of the amount of information, because you really already have a site that is there and functional and it'll work and do everything you really, for the most part, need it to do. The idea of what we would be doing here is just around a little bit more, spending a little bit more time to customize it, okay? So the first thing on this is your homepage here. What do you want the homepage title to be? And you can put that in and type it in there, and then that's this section that would show home right there, okay? Next is, what's the picture that you want to use? So if you have one of your own that you want to use, you can upload a picture that maybe you've taken if you've got something specific you want to use. Or you can choose on this upload or choose an image, which you'll notice when I click on that, it gives me the option to upload from my computer. There's an image gallery, which this is what I did on mine, is I just went to image gallery and then I just scrolled through these different pictures that were on here. Now, again, this would be the picture that's going to show up back here. So this house that you're seeing here, whatever I selected from here. So, go through and figure out based on the area that you work in or whatever, find the style that you like, and then you could select. So here's the one I did. I just selected that picture. And then
So Ross, what drove you to pick that particular one?
what drove me to pick this one? I just liked the looks of it. Nothing specific. There wasn't anything beyond just as I went through it, I was like, that looks kind of cool. And so then I put it on, went and looked at it and thought, yeah, I like the way that looks.
Okay.
So, all right, so that's how you're going to choose this. From here, you can choose your text color, which, so again, on this, as you're doing this, you're going to want to be previewing it, because depending on the picture that you put on there, if I had black letters, it might not look as good as with the white or whatever. So this text color, you're going to decide. And then same thing with the background effect. You can either darken it, lighten it, or whatever. Okay. The next thing is this simple custom text. So you'll notice I've got right here, find your dream home. That's where I typed that in. So you could type in whatever you want to put in there. You would put that there. The search bar text is going to have your name and your title. Here's your picture. You're going to go through and put all of your information in here. And then down here was this custom text. So this is the information that's going to show up right here. Okay. So you can go through and put whatever bio information and things that you want to. You'll notice on this that there, you can do bold, italics, you can put in links, you can upload, I think you can do videos. Yep, right here, you can do pictures or videos if you wanted to put in there. So if somebody wanted to have a video of you introducing yourself, you could create that, put it on YouTube, go get the link from that YouTube video, drop it into right here, and it would show up on that as well. So that's the idea where I'm saying you could do a lot of customization. And then as you come down here, you'll see the next thing it's got is this featured properties. And under this featured properties section is right here where you can then control, do you want it showing your listings, your office listings, your actives, your solds, your company's actives or solds, however you want to do it. I just chose my office listings and put that in there. Okay.
So when you choose that my office does the listings that are in Century 21, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's going to choose the ones from whatever office you're officed out of. It's going to choose properties from that, and then you can choose how many to display here. So, but it has to be less than 100, or equal to or less than 100. So I just left it at 20 there. Okay. So the next thing, which we're not going to get in how to do this in this class, but just I want to make you aware that you can do, is the next thing that I put on my site was these open houses this weekend in Salt Lake County. So here's the idea of what I just want to make you aware of. Again, today's more about making you aware of some of this stuff than actually jumping in and doing it. And we can do a separate class and how to do that. But I just typed in this title of open houses this week in Salt Lake County. And then I went and found and created a custom search. So that's where you start with is if you wanted to create. So let me just give you an example. If I wanted to create a list of foreclosures or short sale properties, something like that, I could go create a custom search for that. And when you click on this create custom search, it then tells you basically how to do it. So it gives you the step-by-step in here of how to go and do that. But again, like I said, I worry a little bit on sometimes doing this. The idea of today is an overview. And I worry sometimes some people see all this stuff and go, that's too confusing, I'm just not going to do it. And the good news is you don't have to do it, that your site will work without all this stuff.
Russ, one question on those open houses, would it just automatically remove them
Yep.
after the open houses are over?
Yep.
And then would it populate them for next
Yep.
week and the next week?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep, so for you guys on Zoom, just in case you didn't hear the question on that, is it automatically, once the open house is over, going to remove those properties and put the new ones on for the next week? And the answer is yes. Yep, that's what happens.
So you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, so if we go to this and look at this open houses this weekend in Salt Lake County, all of these properties are going to be holding an open house. I mean, like this one was just listed 2 days ago, and
That's cool.
they've got an open house schedule.
Now, I noticed that all your listings are above.
Yeah.
Do you put a range there?
So you can, yes. So that's the idea. Back to this on this custom search part is what you would do is go to your site. So I would go here and do a search, and I would create whatever search I want. So if I do Salt Lake County right there. So I would come in here and I could create the search. So what I did to get the open houses was I just went into here into these filters and decided the property style types that I wanted to add, all of the information about it. And so, yeah, I could put in the price range right here as well, so that it's only showing certain price properties as well.
Yeah, because I noticed something, whoa, look at that, all over me.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing is so that the idea is you would then, I typed in the name Salt Lake County, open houses in Salt Lake County this weekend. You put the path that it created for those properties. And anyway, I'm getting too detailed. I'm getting too detailed, which I don't necessarily want to do today. let's see. Is that good to post? Doesn't that lead people to other agents without you? Good, great question, Brielle. So hopefully not. Hopefully what ends up happening is if they came down to one of these properties and clicked on it, because they're on my website, if they requested or wanted to get some information about this property, so schedule a showing here, then it's gonna direct them to call me or to email me. So Brielle, that would be why I would want to do it, is because you'll notice on here, it's not going to have the other agent's information. It will somewhere on here show that it's provided by and who the brokerage is. I don't even know where it's at now. But yeah, the idea of this is as they're seeing this. So yes, what Brielle's saying, you do run the risk that they see the date and time and they just go check out the open house.
Oh, it's right there under the sign listing courtesy of.
Oh, yeah, right there. Yep, listing courtesy of, so it does put the brokerage there. But hopefully they end up contacting me. And so Brielle, you are correct, though. I do run the risk that what happens is they come in here, get the address, see that it's this Saturday and run to the open house, and I missed out on them, but something you just have to decide. And so maybe you don't want to put open houses
The
then.
nice
Maybe
thing
you
about
just-
it is something fresh every week.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Pages changing.
The reason I liked it is exactly that, is that it creates a update on your site all the time. So anyway, for what it's worth, like, just keep in mind, you don't have to do open houses. You could do short sales, foreclosures, just anything that you could do a search for on your site under that section here. That you know, any of this information, prices, beds, baths, any of those kinds of things. Once you created the search, you would just come up here and copy this whole thing. Then I would come back to here. Well, in fact, actually, let me just do it just to show you. So I'd copy this, come back to here, paste it in. And then up here, you'll notice it said it has to begin with search slash. So I would just go to right there. Delete everything before where it has search slash. And then, so now it would be good. I would just type in what I wanted to name it as and save, and it's done.
That's cool.
Okay. So let me see, let me go back to the home page. So I think that probably covers that piece of it, of just how you would go through and customize your site. You know, you can add blogs and featured videos, all those kinds of things. So just, again, don't get overwhelmed by it. Just know you can do it or you don't have to do it. The more you want to customize it, the more go in and do that. And outside of that, just leave it how it is. You know, do those few things, change the background, make sure your picture's there, make sure you got a bio, and bam, you're really good to go at that. Okay? So anyway, that's it in terms of the Moxi, my website. So again, just making sure you know where to go and what you can do, what's available. And then I'll show you at the end too. There are training videos for each of these things on Century 21 University if you want to go in and get more detail on some of this. All right, next. The next one I want to show you is Moxi Present. So I'm going to come back up here. We're going to click on Present and go into the Moxi Present. Although it looks like I may be logged out of 21 online. Nope, they were good. So, okay, so again, from here, I just clicked on present. It's brought me now into the present section. So the idea of Moxi Present is this is where you can get a listing presentation and put together a CMA for your clients as well. Okay, so on this one, same thing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief overview of a run through of what it looks like and how to do it. And then can't remember who asked the question now, but about team things. You'll notice at the top here, it's got team presentations, brokerage presentations, and my presentations. So you can have them for teams as well. Okay. But so to put together a presentation, how you're going to do it, the thing I love about this is it's really very simple, and you can import, or not necessarily import, but you can get your properties you're going to use for your CMA and do all of it right through here. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to start with just create new. From this create new, I'm just going to decide what type of a presentation it is. So we'll just do seller. Okay. So this is a seller presentation. I'm gonna come down and click continue. And then from here, the options that it's giving me, and again, this one is one that our marketing department is going to get our listing presentation that our marketing department has created, uploaded in here, but at this point, it's not there just yet, so we would just use the Century 21 presentation. So there's one option under the brokerage templates, but if we click on that and go to the Century 21 real estate, that, you know, our parent company basically, that one gives you a bunch of different options. So you've got this default seller one, but then there's also a 41-page commercial presentation. One for tablets. This is the Fine Homes and Estates presentation that's 35 pages long. You've got one for tablets. Here's a residential listing presentation that's 56 pages. And again, you can decide which pages you keep in or take out. You don't have to use all of them. There is one in Spanish as well. And so you can kind of scroll through and see some of these different templates that are available. So I'm going to go back to and just select this 12-page one, because just for the sake of what I'm showing you today. So I select that, I hit continue. It's going to be prepared for, I would just put in who I'm preparing it for. So since JC's here, we'll put JC is who it's for. And then the listing source, you're going to choose the MLS source basically. And so for me, it's the Utah real estate. And then I can either do the classic presentation or a luxury. We'll just leave it as classic. And then I hit create. So what that's going to do now is it's going to create this presentation for me. So the next step in this is now I'm going to put in the information about the subject property. Now, if the property had been on the MLS before, I could type in an MLS number and we'll just select one from here. And I'm going to say copy. Okay. So what it's doing is it's taken that MLS number, it's now thrown it into all of this information. The other option I could have done is I could go through and have just typed in all this information in here as well about the subject property. But so now it's got this information in here, I would just scroll down and go continue. So the next step is now to find the properties that I want to use as part of my CMA. So you'll notice that it put in the address for that MLS property that I had put in here, and it has brought up 145 different listings. Well, you probably don't want 145 different listings in your CMA, right? So from here, then I would come and whittle those down a little bit by either the price, the beds and baths, or these other filters. So again, I could choose if I wanted it to include, other types of properties. Here's where I could put in my square footage. So on this particular property was about 1,800 square feet. So let's just say that I want to go 1,600 square feet to 1,900. Let's do 1,999. I could do a lot size or the acreage. Year built, so we'll say from 1990 to 1999. And then I could just put in any of the information that I want. I want solds for the last 6 months, or do I want them, I'll say the last 3 months. Okay. And then I can decide what type of properties that I want. So I don't want off market. I don't want, maybe you do want expired. I don't want sale failed or canceled or other. So there we go. And then I can include short sales or bank loans or not, whatever. Any of this information, and then I can apply. So you'll notice now that's whittled it down to 14. So maybe from there I say, okay, I want to do a certain area. So here's where that property is. So if I came here and just said, I'm going to do this multi-draw thing and say, I only want properties that are along this area right here.
There was a question.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks. I'm glad you're keeping an eye out from the GC.
Yeah, it's a little, it was probably fine.
Oh, all right. Sorry that I missed this question.
When did you see the question?
Who do we contact at the office to become an MLS association? My Moxi does not have my MLS association listed in the states. Let's see. So Lindsay, are you in Utah or California? Lindsay? Well, yeah, you're in Utah. Okay. So we would want to check with Mikkel. Start with Mikkel, and then we'll see what we can figure out. We may have to have Andrew do it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so back to this, then, on here, you can see now I've got this, it's still down showing 14 properties, but that's close enough. So from here, what I would probably want to do is go and select the ones I want to use. So let's say I want to use all 3 of these solds. And then probably all the actives here. So I'll grab those actives. So you can see though, I can go through these properties and decide which ones I want to use. We'll throw a few more of these in here just for fun. Once we've done that, then I'm just going to go continue. So this is where you're going to choose your properties, hit continue. You can see it's just, this is now going to give me the option to rearrange the order or remove them, however I want to do it. So for the sake of right now, since we're not diving deep, this is close enough. So I just say, okay, continue. Then it's asking me next, okay, now put in what the estimated value is. So I can either create a range by clicking on this and put a range in there if you want to use a range, or you could come up with a price. So the system itself, based on those properties that I've thrown in, has come up with $499.5. So again, the idea of this just giving you a basic overview. So I'm going to go through. So from here now, I would decide which pages I want to use. So if I had a picture of the house, I could get that thrown in here as well. But you can see this is what the first page is going to look like. Here's the summary. Where's it at on the map? It shows the properties. This gives a listing overview of the properties I selected. Here's a side-by-side comparison. So you can see this is actually a pretty good detailed information thing that's going to give that you could print out to take with you, including you can have net proceeds, which you would have created back there on the under the search pieces. No, excuse me, under the subject property, I think is where it was. So anyway, that's the idea of this. You would go through and get that all set up. And then from here, I would either send it or I can print it, you know, whatever I want to do from there. So anyway, hopefully that gives you at least an idea to get started on the Moxi Present stuff. Who do you contact to sign into Moxi? So Patty, you should have access to 21 Online. Do you know what your login is for 21 Online?
No.
Okay, so then probably I would say, trying to think who to tell you to contact down there. Probably I think it is, start with whoever's at the front desk at your office and see if they can do it. If not, actually probably the other thing probably I would say to do, Patty, is go to 21online.com and then just try putting in your first name dot last name at century21.com and click the forgot password, and it should give you a way to reset your password. But if not, then start with well, actually, if that doesn't work, then call on 21online.com. There's a phone number for the help desk. If you call them, they could get you in as well. So, but yeah, as long as you've got your username and password for 21 Online, and if you don't, then yeah, go to 21online.com, either do forgot password or call the help desk, the phone number that's on the bottom, and they'll get you in. All right, so that's the Moxi Present. So hopefully that gives you enough information to get going with that. Next, we're going to go to Engage. So you'll notice anywhere that I'm at within this Moxi system, if I wanted to switch to Impress, Website, or Engage, you just come up here and click on it, and bam, it's going to take you over there. All right, so Moxi Engage. On the Moxi Engage, when you first log in, the very first time you log in, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions. You're going to put in what your goals are and all that kind of stuff, because then it'll help you keep track if you're on track for your goals. But within the Moxi Engage system, this is basically the CRM. This is what you're going to want to use to keep track of your sphere of influence. And when you first log in, the thing that I love about this Moxi Engage is when you first log in, it has this on the dashboard, which is where we're at here. It has this stay and flow. Now, the idea of this stay and flow is you get your people put into the system. In fact, let me back up on that. The way you're going to get people into the system is when you log into Moxi Engage, you're gonna have the option of using Outlook, which would be tied to your @c21everest.com email, which I know there are a few agents or some agents in California that use the @c21everest. Very few agents in Utah. In fact, I don't know if there's more than a handful that use that. So the option that most of you are going to use when you log in to Engage the first time is it is going to ask to use your Gmail. And so my recommendation is that that's what you're going to want to do, select the Gmail option. Unfortunately, if you use AOL, Hotmail, Outlook works, but none of those other ones unfortunately will work. So if you use a different email address that's not a Gmail, you're probably going to have to go set up a Gmail and then maybe forward that Gmail to your AOL or Hotmail or whatever, which I always still joke. My father-in-law still uses AOL, and like I always joke, you can tell how old somebody is by what their email is. If it's AOL or Yahoo. So no offense if you still use that, but you're old. All right. So once you do that though, and you connect it with your Gmail, it will automatically bring all of your Gmail contacts into the system, which I think is awesome, because then from there, what it's going to do is it's going to offer to you every time you log in this stay and flow. It's going to prompt you every day that you log in. Hey, here's the 5 people you should call today about real estate that's in your sphere of influence. So
It gives you the people.
yeah,
I mean,
right
like I
here.
see here.
Yep, right here, it's popped up. Here's the people it's telling me I should call today. Now, unfortunately, on most of my contacts are all real estate agents. So as I look at this,
You can.
a lot of them are agents, but you can control that, and that's a separate class that I'll take you through of how to set all that up. But just to begin with, just know this stay and flow, you would come through here and then you're either going to call them or you could set them up on neighborhood news, which again, we'll cover that in a different class.
So,
But
Ross, I'm sorry to interrupt.
you're good.
When we are like prospecting, we have a good contact, will that go in there? Or
So
that's
yes,
different?
if you're prospecting and you come across somebody, so whether it's door knocking, you're on the phone making calls, yeah, and you come across somebody good, then yeah, you would want to add them into this system as part of your follow-up. I would say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I met a gentleman that he's, according to him, restoring a home. He's not sure if he wants to sell or if he wants to rent, so he's like that.
Yeah.
But I was saying, I want to keep contacting him
Yep.
in case he decided to go the other way.
Yeah, so that would be a perfect person to throw into here. Is if you come up here and hover over people, it has add people.
All right,
So if I clicked on that, I could then put in his name and contact information, put all of his information into here.
okay.
And then you can put reminders in to remind you to call them and stay in touch.
Oh, that's great.
So, okay. So that's the idea basically today, guys, is I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what all of these things do up here and what's on the dashboard. And then, like I said, we'll do another class where we'll dive deeper in to how to do some of this stuff. But this stay and flow is going to bring up and offer to you people to contact. If you click on this gear icon, you can put the cadence. How often do you want to be contacting the people? And then you can set it 30, 60, or 90 days. You can decide who you want the system to offer up to you based on the type of prospect they are right there. Okay, that's the stay and flow. This activity feed is going to keep you updated as to the people who are using the system. The other thing that I like about this as well is I get an email every week too that tells me how many people have been engaging through this. So on this activity feed, same thing, click here, I can put what information and how recently. Do I want it for the past month, 2 weeks, week, or 3 days? And which of this information do I want to show up? So you can see it shows up under this activity feed that one neighborhood news email was sent on the 15th, one on the 14th, and so on. Good.
So where do you get those neighborhood news?
So neighborhood news is within the people section. So I'll show you real quick since you had the question on that. I wasn't planning to, but I'll show you in a minute.
Because I always been interested, if you have that, what do you tell them?
If you have what?
I mean, the engage, and then you
Oh,
call.
yes.
but
What do you
like,
do?
yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, my recommendation, especially for this guy you were talking about, is I would put him on neighborhood news.
Okay.
And then once a month, it's gonna send him an email with what's going on in his area. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so the tasks, so as you put in tasks, so again, going back to what Luz had asked about this guy that she met, if you had put him in and put a task to call him on a certain date, when you go on your dashboard, it'll show up here and you need to call him today or whatever, whatever the
Yeah,
task is.
because so far I've been just keeping that in my mind and thinking,
So your calendar, so the calendar is going to show up here. So whatever I have on my Gmail calendar will show up right here as well. So as you put people in. This sales flow is going to keep track of and show you what's going on within your system. So you can see what this is showing is I have 35 people in the marketing part of this, which is basically what that means is that I've got 35 people that I've got probably set up on neighborhood news is basically what that's saying. Then from there, you can then have that funnel down to, okay, as you're contacting these 35 people, somebody may become a prospect. The idea of a prospect within the system would be somebody who's like this guy you're talking about. He really would be a prospect. Somebody who's thinking about doing something. They haven't said, yes, we want to. We're just thinking about it. They would become a prospect. From your prospects then is where the actives, the people are like, yeah, no, we want to buy a house, would show up under actives. And then once they bought or sold a house, that'd be under pendings.
So who inputs that?
You.
I do, like who's a prospect, who's an
Yep.
active, who's a pending?
Yep.
or-
Yep. So what you'll do is once you put the people in, which I'll show you that's next, is where you're going to control this. And then down here is going to show you your completion towards your goal. So if you had put in here that you wanted to make 500,000 in gross commission income, it's now going to track you as you close properties. It'll keep track showing you how close you are to your goal. And then down here is going to show your active listings and sold listings as well that you can click on and see. Okay. So that's the dashboard section of this. So now let's go over to the people. So under this My People section, which is where you're going to control neighborhood news and all the people that are in the system. So if I click on the My People, it's going to bring up all of your contacts. So you can see I've got 509 people in here in the system. And from here is where then I could manage these people. So let's take Wendy Morley here. If I were to pull her up, it's going to ask me. So you'll notice it says this person needs some love. You should be there for them. So which is trying to be funny, I guess. But so what it's asking is she a client? So the definition of client for this is not client like the division of real estate would say it, meaning that they have signed a contract with you. Think of a client as just, is this somebody who potentially would use you to buy or sell? And if the answer is yes, put them as a client. If it's a non-client, so let's say I was putting JC in the system, he's going to be a non-client because he's probably never going to use me because he's an agent, right? So I would put non-client, then it's asking, is he a recruit? Is it a personal contact? Is he somebody I'm collaborating with, or should we just flat out remove him from engage? And maybe with Wendy, depending on what I would want to do with her, I would just select one of those items, okay? If she's a client and I click on it, then it says, do you want to create a marketing plan? Should I make her a seller prospect or a buyer prospect? Okay, so again, the way you're going to decide on that is if they are somebody just that you hope to do business with at some point, it's your SOI, you're going to create a marketing plan. If they've said, yes, we're interested. So now remember, when I go back to the dashboard here, the piece that I showed you down here on this sales flow, I have 35 people in that marketing section. Well, that is because under the people section, I had marked them as a client and put them onto a marketing plan, created a marketing plan. Okay. If though for Wendy, I had selected and said she was a seller prospect, then she wouldn't show up in that marketing on the sales flow. She would have been under the prospect section. Okay. All right. So from here is where I can control all of her contact information, all of that. But then you'll also notice that it's got subscriptions here. So I'll walk you through, I wasn't going to today, but since Lou's asked, I'll give you a bonus. So I'm gonna click add subscription. And then you have two options, neighborhood news or listing announcements. Listing announcements is not what it sounds like. To me, when I hear listing announcements, I think it would be like you would go set them up on a listing search and it's gonna send properties to them. That's not what this is. This is gonna show your record. So anytime you list a property, anybody you've added to the listing announcements, anytime you list a property, it's gonna send them, hey, I just listed a house. Yeah, it's more of you marketing you, not marketing properties. So neighborhood news, though, is going to send information about their neighborhood. So if I click on that, then my options are I can do a zip code or a custom search. So if you do a zip code, you would just come into here, it's put in their information here, which you can see Wendy actually is an agent down in California, but so I'm actually not going to set her up. But I would just put in the zip code and then hit done, and it would now have her set up on that neighborhood news.
Sorry to ask again, but when you are doing a zip, it will be, of course, geared towards that particular area. Is there something generic? Because sometimes you will have contacts that are in different neighborhoods.
Yeah, so you can set up more than one neighborhood news. So if they were in multiple areas, they have
Uh-huh.
properties, or you would have multiples of those neighborhood news for
Yeah.
each area.
Because I have a contact from Bountiful, but I have another from West Valley.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
yeah,
their neighborhood news will be different. wouldn't
yes,
they?
yeah, sorry, every single you're gonna set up the neighborhood news for each individual
Oh,
contact.
okay, so.
So
okay.
each contact, you're gonna either put in their, let me just see if I can find one real quick.
So what you're telling is that each contact can have a different zip code.
Yes,
All right, so it's
Yeah.
not the same news for everybody.
no,
All right, okay.
yeah, so like I just went into, this guy lives in my neighborhood, so if I go to add subscription. And do neighborhood news, I could either do the zip code that he lives in, or I could do a custom area. That custom area is gonna bring it up, and then from here. I could go on the map here to. To find the area, so this would be, and let's just say I wanted to send in this area here. I would go to this multi-draw and just say, send him every property or information about this area. So
So,
I've selected that area, then I would say next.
so Ross, these neighborhood news, what are they exactly? What do they
So I'm
call?
gonna show you right now. You keep asking right ahead of what I'm gonna show you. So you're right on track. Okay, so first I would then select where I wanted to email it to him to. Then I say next. And this is gonna give me a preview of what it's gonna look like. So it's loading it right now. So here's an email preview. Here's the full report preview. So what it would send to him is this neighborhood news saying there's 7 listings. And then, you can go through and look at those properties. This gives them the trends for the surrounding market area. And again, here's the properties that it's brought up. So it shows market changes for June and July, 134 with 33 sold, the median price. And your information on here. So, and then if they wanted to see more, they can click on it, it'll bring up more detail, but that's what that would look like. So I'll just go ahead and put him on that report it's sent to me, so. Okay. So now it's set up, and now you can see under the subscriptions, it shows the email address it's going to, it's a custom boundary, and it's gonna send it again. It'll always send it 1 month later from when you put them in. So you can see it'll send it next on September 16th, which is a month from today. If I want to preview or edit, I can send it now, however I want to do it. So if I hit the preview, that just brings it back up to where I would see everything we already looked at here. So,
That's just a one-time deal, or does it send that monthly or?
yeah, no, it's going to do it every month on the, so like because I did it on the 16th, on the 16th of every month, it'll send that to me. So.
She just asked if you could send out the recording basically to her, whatever.
Send a link to this recording once you're finished. Yeah. Yep, that'll be great. Yeah, so Marissa, we'll put it, it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. So it'll just be on the Century 21 Everest Training YouTube channel as well. I will get it uploaded there later today. So. All right. So anyway, I think that's the rest of this, the calendar, basically we've kind of already talked about. And then there's a goals section, which you can keep track again. If you click on that, it's going to show you your goals and where you're at. And then there are campaigns available. Again, I'm not going to dive into that today, but part of it, I would say on the campaigns, they're available. You can do them if you want. But for me, I'm telling you the best thing, rather than creating a campaign and putting them on, which there probably are times to do that. But the best thing you can do is put people on the neighborhood news. The neighborhood news is essentially a campaign that it's going to monthly send that to them, but it's sending them real information that is relevant to the area that they live in. And so they like that better than what you would come up with just in some type of a campaign here, is what I would say. So anyway, that's what I got for you. Hopefully that at least gives you an introduction, helps you feel a little bit more comfortable to potentially jump in and do some more things with the Moxi Engage system. But yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Like I said, we will schedule some other classes where we'll do a detailed of setting up the website, more detail on the Engage and Present. Impress, we probably won't do a whole lot on until we get more flyers and stuff there. So
Well, thank you. That was very informative. Now we know what that might.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks y'all. See you later.
See you later. Thanks.